Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we are going to be discussing a horrifying case, and I was honestly shocked when I heard it. Never imagined something like this happening at a beach. This photo was taken just hours before one of these family members would be brutally murdered just feet away from the rest of them. This is the case of 9-year-old Matthew Cecchi. November 14th of 1988 in Oceanside, California. 9-year-old Matthew Cecchi, who is front and center in this family photo taken, him and his family had all gone down to Oceanside to have a family reunion on the beach. The family had reserved a large camping spot at a paid camping grounds near the pier. And the only family member who did not attend this trip was Matthew's father, because his father was actually suffering from cancer at the time. Little 9-year-old Matthew was described as a student, and he was a big baseball fan. Around 8 p.m. that day, Matthew needed to use the washroom. And so his aunt went and took him to one of the public restrooms. Much like the one I have on the screen right now. I'm sure if you've ever been to the beach that you've seen them or used them before. I know I have many times, and I've never really thought twice going in there. Now, I've seen some sources say that Matthew, he was only 9 years old, and so he would normally go into the women's restroom when he was with, like a female family member. If he was with a male family member, he would go into the male's washroom. And I know a lot of people do this for the safety of their children. And from what I've seen, that's kind of what they would do with Matthew normally. But this time, Matthew decided, he was 9 years old. He wasn't a little kid anymore. He wanted to go into the men's bathroom by himself. And so his aunt let him, which shouldn't have been a big deal. Every kid comes to that point in their life where they want to feel more mature and they want to start doing things on their own. And that's all that this should have been. Matthew should have just went in, he should have came out and continued the fun at the family reunion on the beach. But if that's what had happened, I wouldn't be sitting here today telling you the story. So Matthew and his aunt walk over to these public restrooms. Matthew goes into the men's side and his aunt stands outside and waits for him. As she waited outside, she noticed a few people going in and out of, the women's restroom and the men's restroom. She did, however, recognize one person entering the men's restroom. He was in his late teens. He went in and he came out only a couple minutes later. Time ticked away and Matthew still didn't come out of the men's restroom, and his aunt started to get more and more concerned because he should have been out by now. That young man had gone in and out. Other women were going in and out of the women's restroom. He shouldn't have been in there that long. Growing concerned, the aunt then popped open the men's bathroom door, called inside, but she got no response from Matthew, and no one else answered either. So getting no response, she decided to push open the men's washroom door and step inside to see for herself what was, holding Matthew up. And when Matthew's aunt entered the men's restroom, she seen something that nobody should ever see. 9-year-old Matthew was laying on the cement floor in a puddle of blood, and his throat had been slashed from ear to ear. His aunt and several bystanders immediately tried to revive Michael and stop his bleeding, but their efforts were unsuccessful. In that short time, this little boy, they wanted to prove that he was growing up, had his entire innocence, childhood, and life taken from him. Now, it makes me extra sad about this case is Matthew's father. He was suffering from leukemia at the time, and he was unable to attend the family gathering. So he was actually eventually notified by Matthew's uncle. I don't know if it was his brother or his wife's brother, but he was notified by one of the other family members that his son had died. And this made me tear up when I was reading it the first time. Matthew's father was quoted saying that he was my best friend. He actually was my best friend. On top of that, the Cecchi family had left their home in Anaheim and moved to the small town of Oroville 10 years prior because they wanted to escape urban problems. Cecchi being quoted saying that they wanted to get away from the crime, the congestion, and the pollution so that we could give our kids a better life. So it's just so sad that the one time that they went back to the big city to have this family reunion, something that should have been, a joyous time, the exact fear that they had left because happened to them. It's just absolutely horrible. The Cecchis now had the task of explaining to Matthew's 3-year-old brother, their 3-year-old son, what had happened. Sitting here right now, I don't even know how I could explain something like that to a child that young. But who was responsible for this horrific murder? Several days would pass before a suspect was caught. And this suspect would be 20-year-old Brandon Wilson from Croy Falls, Wisconsin. And he would be caught after stabbing and robbing a 40-year-old woman in Hollywood. This woman thankfully recovered in hospital. I'm going to tell you now that this man had no remorse, absolutely no remorse for what he did to Matthew. And he actually admitted right away what he did to Matthew. Brandon Wilson had a history of drug abuse. He actually had some prior drug arrests, and he was also known to be a transient, claiming to have taken LSD while camping in the desert, saying that God told him to go on a murder spree and that he was instructed to kill. Matthew just ended up being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Brandon recounted the events of Matthew's murder very callously, and it is actually captured in interrogation footage. He simply said that he walked into the beach's public restroom and it didn't matter who was going to be in there, he was just going to murder them. During the interrogation, Brandon told the investigators that he wanted to take something from Matthew, that he wanted to, and I quote, drink his blood or something. Which is where I think he was starting to plan his insanity plea, which is very confusing because he went back and forth from being like, I did it, to claiming insanity. So further in the interview, Brandon explained that Matthew just happened to be inside of the public restroom when he passed his aunt and went inside to the men's room. Brandon explained the murder as he walked in, spotted Matthew, casually went up behind him, grabbed his head, and slit his throat. I'm going to just play the clip here so you can hear Brandon explaining it. He also says that he stabbed him a couple times, it seems like, but I don't know, I didn't see that reported everywhere, but he does claim it in the interrogation.
He's there, and I'm like, I mean, when I've been thinking about this, I was thinking that I wanted to take something from him, that I wanted to drink his blood or something, but I don't really think about doing it with this one.
Mm-hmm. So you wanted something from him, okay? So how many times did you stab him where did you stab him?
In the back.
Yeah, where?
Just once.
Okay, where though?
Right here.
Okay.
Okay, it's just...
Let me see where. Okay, and around there?
Yeah,
okay.
And it's just...
Show me where about the area.
Like right in there.
Okay, right in there. So you're doing it a lot of times there. You're doing it multiple times there.
I did it once and
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
And, you know, I mean, it didn't...
Okay,
He was already dead, you know? I mean, I just did it, just to do it.
Okay, so you did it after you knew he was already dead. Okay, so let's say I'm the kid. Okay, let's act this out. Okay, are you with me on that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's say I'm here, and Tom, why don't you move over there for a second? Okay, Brandon, come on over here and show me. Okay, now, be gentle with me now, okay? Okay, I'm the kid. What am I doing?
You're pissing.
Okay, I'm taking a leak?
Yeah.
Okay, and what do you do now? Show me.
Okay, I walk around you this way and you look at me.
Okay, I look over like this?
And I you say that, but I kind of smile and I nod.
Okay.
I smile and I nod. You know me.
Okay.
I'm going to kill you.
Does he look back?
Yeah, then he looks back.
Okay, then what happens?
I stop. I take out my knife.
Okay. I noticed you pulled out your knife like that. Is that where you had it?
I have it right here.
Okay, that's cool. Then what happens?
Take it out like this.
Right.
I got it all figured out. I got it put in the sheath the right way so the sharp end is here.
Right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. I go in behind him.
Go ahead, show me.
Grab him like this.
Right.
I take him like this.
Right. And you let it have it.
Yes.
Then what do you do?
I hold him like this.
Okay.
And he's spurting.
Right.
Spurting.
Okay, good.
Okay. And he's starting to sink down.
Okay, then what happens? You let him have it like that?
One more time.
Then what
He
happens?
goes down. He goes all the way down.
All the way down?
He's down on the ground.
Then what happens?
I'm leaning over him.
Right.
I take the knife.
Right.
Stab him like this.
Right.
One last time.
Right.
I pull it out.
And then what happens then?
He's dead. I stand up. Start backing away. And here's Mother's voice.
You hear his mother's voice?
All of this just makes this case even sadder to me because if Matthew had been in that restroom 5 minutes earlier, 5 minutes later, he may still be here today with us. During the trial, Brandon literally got up and admitted to the murder, and he openly said to the court that he would do it again if he didn't get the death penalty. I will also play that footage now.
What's the time estimate for the preliminary hearing?
Your Honor, the time estimate is going to be, I'd say, 1 day. We need a time when we kill the defendant.
I did it. I killed him. I killed the little boy. We request, Your Honor, that the defendant be removed from the courtroom at this time.
Well, no, he's not going to be removed. It's true. Don't say anything else at this point.
But then after admitting it, again, he yo-yoed back to trying to plead insanity. It's insane. I'm so glad that they seen right through him. Clearly, he's crazy, this man, and we'll get to it, but he's no longer on this earth, thankfully. Brandon, at his wishes, I guess, was found guilty and sentenced to death, which apparently Brandon was really happy about. He was also sentenced to San Quentin, which is not a very good prison. Not that any of them really are, but you probably don't want to be in this one, especially. Unfortunately, though, Brandon would never make it to the electric chair because he would end up unaliving himself. This case is so heartbreaking. I didn't want to share it with you all to scare you into not going into public restrooms. And I can't even tell you to just be more cautious because, again, this is a case that was just wrong place, wrong time. It wasn't like there was anything you could look out for, any signs. It wasn't like Brandon was stalking them and, you know, they passed by him on multiple occasions or they seen him staring at Matthew across the beach and like he was giving them the creeps. He literally just walked along the beach, went into the restroom, and killed the first person that he's seen, which unfortunately happened to be little 9-year-old Matthew Cecchi. So let me know how you feel about this case below. Did you hear about it at the time that it happened? Because this is quite an older case. With that, I hope you all keep the Cecchi family in your thoughts because no one should lose a child like this. It's absolutely horrific. And if you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.